Stitch Cuties, I'm Brittany.
And I'm Julie.
And together we're the mother-daughter duo of Stitches of Love. In this video tutorial, Julie is going to show us how to do a long and short satin stitch, which around here,
I call it a staggered backstitch.
Exactly. So whichever way you want to call it, it's the same stitch.
Yeah, it's basically a way to fill in a small area.
With some texture.
Yeah, and you also get a textured look. So I'm going to show you on the bottom of her little boots. And this is done in a light yellow, so I hope you can see it well, but I think you can. I came up a stitch away from the edge here of her little boot. I'm going to come up and go down. And then I usually do a couple stitches in a line just to kind of give me a good reference point.
Like you're laying your foundation with one line.
Yeah.
Isn't it so calming to watch her stitch?
Might give some people anxiety.
Really? Oh, I love watching you stitch.
I don't know. I think it's nice to just watch anybody do something that's creative because you're just watching. So let's just pretend I probably would go all the way across that line. So then I want to fill in. So I'm going to come back over here to where I started, and I'm going to come about a needle's width away from the first stitch, but halfway to the middle of it, right? So this first stitch here is going to be short, very short.
It's going to be shorter, like half the width, half the length, excuse me, of your stitch.
Yes, which is going to be very tiny in this case. And then I'm going to come back down here to about the middle of the second stitch and then come over here.
Kind of think about how bricks are laid. The one below it, it's in the center, and the one above it is in the center. So it's basically like a brick.
Or thus it's called staggered, like bricks.
There you go.
Right?
Yep.
And then I'm just going to come over here. And I mean, it's willy-nilly. You don't have to be very accurate with this. To me, you just are doing this to fill in.
Now you're using, we didn't state this, but I noticed you're using one strand of the Sulky 12 weight, which is equivalent to 2 strands of floss. When you do your regular satin stitch, you use 2 strands of Sulky, which is equivalent to 4. Is there ever a situation where you might do more than 1 strand here?
Well, I mean, I could have done more than 1 here. I guess, but I think it would look a little bulky.
Okay.
I have a tendency not to like the look of a lot of bulk on my embroidery, so it's a matter of what you like.
Oh, that's looking really beautiful, though. I know that you all can hopefully see that real nicely. That looks really good.
Does it?
It's coming together.
Okay.
Sorry, my dog is trying to be in the video.
And sometimes when you're doing this stitch, you may not end with have just a perfect back stitch, where you're going forward and then back, especially when you start and maybe when you stop. So sometimes what I do too is I will kind of give myself, and this is very narrow, and so I give myself just 2 rows, and then I might come back and just fill in with the staggered.
Like stitch your top line, your bottom line, and then fill that middle?
Yep.
Okay.
And if I didn't feel like it was filling in very well, I might give it more stitches. Like for instance, this is a little bit wider here, so maybe I would put another one in there and just kind of give it an irregular length. If you look in the manual that we suggest, the little embroidery handbook, they're very neat and organized with theirs perfectly.
They do like 1 row
short and then 1 row long. They call it long and short, and technically that is long and short. I just do it like this because it doesn't matter. It's a fill in. To me, it's a staggered backstitch to fill in.
Yeah, so you can see. Having this little pocket guide, by the way, is so helpful just to give yourself little reminders.
Yeah, if there's a stitch you don't do very often, you may find that it's great to be able to have a reference to go back to. course, now we have the internet. You can always come back and pull up our video. Or
Watch
anybody
this video
else's.
over and over.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a minute to show how this is filling it because I think everyone wants to see how great it looks. I'm going to pull it a little bit closer for you all. Doesn't that look so good? I love that. That's a really fun texture to me.
It is, and it's just a nice way to fill in because, you know, if you tried to do a satin stitch that was vertical, little satin stitch to fill this in, to me, it would take forever. I wouldn't enjoy that.
You should always pick the stitch that you get joy out of doing. Don't do a stitch you don't like to do. If you don't like this stitch, don't do it. If you love it, do it all the time.
Yeah, and for instance, on this, if you think it would look fine without filling it in, don't fill it in. It's your project.
I like it though because it's like the soles of her shoes. They look grounded, especially with like a lighter color like this. I think it needed it.
Yeah. So
I love it.
This is a staggered backstitch.
Also known as the long and short satin stitch if you're referencing your guide, which we listed both on the screen. We did not, but let me put that up there for you. Long and short satin stitch. And I found this helpful to get reminded of how to do it.
Did you? Okay, good.
Yeah. And if you found this video helpful, please subscribe to our YouTube channel here at Stitches of Love. And don't forget to tell a friend. Be like, hey, I watched this really fun video today. You might like it.
And in the meantime,
Happy stitching!